Hey guys, Mermaider here with Hell 22, and of course our guest Chester.
Woo.
This is Sorrow Eternal, our podcast.
So Mermaider did a great review this week of band Arkan. They just had an album come out. You really seemed intrigued by it.
Yep. Arkan is actually considered a oriental death metal band.
Oh.
They do have a lot of Arabic influences to their music. They're very melodic. A lot of heavy breakdowns, and the growling was awesome. Very powerful growling through the vocals. They actually had a mix between the vocals, going back and forth between growling and clean singing, which their singer is a female. Female vocals were just beautiful.
She doesn't do the growling though, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope. So they have two vocalists that one does the growling, one does the singing. But together, they even have some songs on the album where they growl and sing together, which really set it up as a Beauty and the Beast type of look to the album.
That's awesome.
That's interesting.
It was very different, very different. Now you also did a review on Crimfall, right?
Yeah, they just released their second album. They recently signed to Spine Farm Records, which is kind of one of those smaller metal labels. Finnish band, in case you haven't heard them before. It's a great mix of black metal and folk metal kind of jammed together, but this album had a lot of folk influences in it. The title of it, The Writ of Sword, in case I didn't mention that. It's got a string intro. Some of the songs, there's one song, Silver and Bones, it really is a symphonic battle. Like, you really feel like you are in the middle of a war between strings and instrument. It's fantastic. They have some female vocals, some growling male vocals, really high octane stuff. The first album was good, but this album really was definitely a great evolution for the band.
Awesome.
So last week we started a new segment for the podcast where we have our buddy Chester here. Chester, the rapper extraordinaire. And we give him an album every week, a metal album for him to listen to, so that way, we're trying to take him on a journey. Last week he gave us some great information about Nightwish, their album Dark Passion Play. And this week, Chester, what did we give you?
You gave me Blind Guardian.
Blind Guardian? Which album did we have you listen to?
At the Edge of Time.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was their latest album. So what did you think? What were your impressions?
There were 3 tracks that really stood out to me.
Okay.
Sacred Worlds, Curse My Name, and War of the Thrones.
Now, Sacred Worlds is the opening track.
The opening track.
Which is really strong. A lot of orchestration, instrumentation going on in there.
I thought it had great build-up. The variety of instruments that was introduced in the song pulls from emotions. It comes from everywhere. You have, the strings that, you feel like kind of like calm at first, and then it pulls in. What I thought was interesting is the vocals don't actually come in until like 2 minutes into the introduction of the song, which is nice.
Yeah, it really builds up the album right into the beginning, showing that they're about to tell you the story, and you're almost like you're going on an adventure. Just
exactly.
by listening to the album.
They really are. I would say you could call them the kings of fantasy metal.
You could
albums like Nightfall and Middle Earth, Night at the Opera. It's
you could definitely hear the JR the Token influence.
Yeah. I know, Mermaider, you and I have talked in the past that so few metal bands really use horns in a pleasing way, but I know that they really do.
I was talking to you a few days ago. I was telling you one of the songs on the album, and I couldn't remember the song title. Still very new to everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Curse My Name, where I said I could definitely hear the Token, influence, and more so in that one track than any other track in the entire album. I really felt like, it sounded like a band that was at a bar or whatever it was called back in the day of Middle Earth. You walk in there and they're sitting there playing a song and telling you about a story of their kingdom, and you hear the influence of Token or so much the fantasy influence from them. Where I told you jokingly, I was like, I wonder if they choose track numbers by a roll of a d20.
Which, for those who don't know, would be the dice you use when you play
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that stuff, which I have never done.
Yeah, okay.
So, on the whole, Blind Guardian, is that a band that you could see yourself listening to again?
I wouldn't say I could listen to the whole album again. The 3 songs that I did pick, I could find myself going back to and listening to. They've definitely influenced me to go and check some of their older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd feel a little closed-minded saying, a band with 12 albums out I'm just going to take one album and judge it and then not listen to anything else that they've produced. I mean, I was really looking into them. You know, they've been around since 1988.
Yeah.
You know, they started. You told me don't trust Wikipedia, so I went and I looked up the band. It was Lucifer's Heritage is what they started out as, and they did change it because they didn't want to be labeled as black metal.
Which, you know, even from the beginning, they've never been remotely close to black metal. But unfortunately, you put Lucifer in the title of anything, and people think you wear black and white face paint and worship the devil.
And then, you know, the 80s hair metal that I said, I could kind of hear the influence from. It was cool to see comparisons made to them by, like, Iron Maiden, Halloween. I found it interesting that they worked with Flemming Rasmussen, also known as Raz. He also co-produced Metallica's albums.
I just wanted to say that I know you like a specific 3 songs on the album, and that happens. You end up picking out a few songs, but I've learned, and also I'll suggest to you, is that even though you like the 3 songs and you think you'll only go to those 3 songs, you should occasionally still go back just through the whole album, because I've picked up a lot of different songs that I end up liking later in the album that I didn't like at first. I wasn't crazy about at first, and then later was like, wow, no, this is my favorite song off this album. I don't know what I was thinking before, but this song right here, those other ones are okay, but now I don't know how I missed this one. But
well, yeah, I was telling you that happened with me with Nightwish.
Yeah,
Nightwish, I gave the album a couple listens, and then you know, the other songs started to grow on me.
Yeah, the more you learn about the album, I mean, because of course when you hear a certain song and you really like it, your mind is so focused on that one, you almost don't care as much for the others just because you want to hear that one so much. But then when you take the time to actually listen to those other ones, you end up finding out that they are just as amazing, if not more amazing, than the one that you were so obsessed with.
We're all guilty of that. You always find that one song and you kind of put it on repeat. Yep. And unfortunately, when you do that, you're really depriving yourself of the rest of the album, and you might also burn out that one track for you too.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, you don't want to do that, especially in the case of someone like Blind Guardian. They have such a great catalog, and At the Edge of Time, I thought it was one of their best albums to date. Yeah. And you know, I found myself listening to Sacred Worlds and Tanalorn, and I wasn't letting myself get to the second half of the album at all. It took me a solid 2 weeks before I really let myself get that far, and as you do, then you discover all the great tracks at the end of the album. Yep. And then I couldn't believe that I had waited so long to do it.
Yeah. I remember when we were talking a long time ago, when you were getting into Avantasia more, The Scarecrow.
Yep.
And I kept trying to tell you to check out track 5, What Kind of Love. And you kind of did, but you were so much more focused on like some of the other songs on there.
Oh yeah, I was stuck on Twisted Mind, and I was stuck on
Carry Me Over
and Toy Factory.
Oh yeah, Toy Factory.
Alice Cooper. I mean, I was damn stuck on that. Remember, we thought it was Dave Mustaine from Megadeth.
Yeah, he did sound like that. Sheltered from the Rain was another one that I was really onto at first, and then when I came across the album, and then the ballad just really took me, and I know eventually...
Yep, it took me a while, but, you know, gave myself time to listen to it, and then you can kind of discover that you were really missing out.
Yeah, so that's where I've really learned to make sure to listen to the whole album again and again, you know, maybe not right away, but even if you go back to it months on end, and you'll end up finding something new that you were missing before.
Very true.
So definitely, you know, keep that album around. I'm not telling you to listen to it every day from here on out, but, you know, 6 months down the road, say, oh yeah, I remember when I listened to Blind Guardian, let me hear this again. Oh yeah, I remember liking this track. Whoa, I don't remember this one. Oh, this is really good. Then you end up, you know, finding something new.
Well, like I said, I'm probably going to go and check out some of their other stuff. I wasn't saying that as a whole. I just listened, you know, I've listened to the album I listened fully through because, you know, I wanted to come to the table with at least some knowledge of the band since I've never listened to them before.
Yeah.
I just thought the album as a whole was decent, not something I could really find myself personally diving into, but enjoyable all the same. You know, had a couple tracks really to match up with each other that I didn't think they really matched up or fit together well on the album. You know, maybe it was song placement, you know, was poor during the album, but, you know, it just, I could hear like they came heavy and then they went directly into something more very mellow. And I feel like sometimes, like with Nightwish, I thought their song placement was very well done, and the album kind of melded together. as to where this didn't so much.
Well, for me, I think being a Blind Guardian fan, I would say the Blind Guardian album flows better together than the Nightwish album, because I think with Blind Guardian they're really telling a story from song to song, and much like a movie, you know, let's say you watch a movie, it's not 6 car chases in a row and then a love scene. It's a car chase, and then, you know, he stops to talk to the girlfriend, and then he blows a building up, and I think that's what Blind Guardian does so well. But with them in particular,